Hey yo guys, welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today is our final review of Avatar Country by Avatar. Alright guys, I'm going to open up the floor here. We spent all week listening to this album non-stop, and I'm going to say that my opinion of this album unfortunately is not very good. And I know we're going to get some hate, we're going to get some people in the comments section saying that we're closed-minded and we don't know what we're talking about and we don't know what real music is and all this stuff, but that's not really fair. Like, we give this a chance, we gave it a really diligent chance, and I just was not feeling this album. It's not that I don't like Avatar, because we talked about in our first impressions, we liked Avatar quite a bit. Feathers and Flesh is an amazing album. He liked the Black Waltz. You know, that shows you that we're not just haters of this band. Going into this album, maybe my hopes were set too high, maybe not, I don't know, but just, there was nothing that did it for me here. Now, I found it tolerable. I didn't hate it. I didn't want to like shut it off every time. I managed to get through it many times. But I feel like the opening track, Glory to Our King, just set a very bad tone for this album. And the opening track, especially a track like that where it's just kind of an intro track, is supposed to set the tone. That's the job of that track. Did a horrible job on this. It's got this royal sound to it, and it's got this, it's almost like kind of corny, or kind of like just kind of hokey, the way it's presented. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like it's you know, you said royal, it really does set that kind of tone.
Yeah.
But the album never really comes back to that. You're never reminded that this is supposed to be all royal.
Right.
No other song really touches upon the themes of the first track.
Yeah, so it sets a tone and then doesn't follow that tone. But the way it seems to me is it almost kind of like falls flat on its face right at the beginning, and then just kind of just drags along the concrete, getting its face peeled off. And there's nothing really that picks it up from there. There's nothing that redeems that failure right off the start, in my opinion. Now, there's certain things here and there that do kind of poke out a little bit. The guitar riff here and there that's kind of catchy, like King After King's got a pretty catchy guitar riff. Do I like the riff? It's catchy, but I don't really particularly like it. Kind of like a Taylor Swift song, you know what I mean? They're catchy, but you don't really want to listen to them. I'd say A Statue of the King is probably my favorite song on the album. I don't exactly know what about that song makes it my favorite, but just maybe the structure of the song, or the style of the song, or whatever it is. It just seems to stand out a little more to me. But I'll hand the floor to you, and you can let us know what you think. My opinion was kind of shitty, so let's see if yours is any better.
Only a bit. This album, I didn't feel like was really difficult to listen to. I kind of similar to you, like I couldn't really just shut it off and be like, I hate this. But it didn't really like make me so excited to listen to it. I didn't really say I'm looking forward to give this one another listen.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it falls straight flat on its face. I feel like it had a few stumbles. I feel like there were some parts of this album that I enjoyed, that I can say, yeah, this is good, but it's not like fantastic. Like anything from Feathers and Flesh I feel is better than this, or anything from Black Waltz. You mentioned Statue of the King. I like that song too. There's like half the album I would put in the like column. Like Legend of the King, King's Harvest, The King Wants You, Statue King, King After King. Those, I enjoy all of those. That's 5 tracks out of 10. So that's literally half the album that I would say that I enjoyed. Silent Songs of the King was really hard for me to like try to judge, because I felt part 1 on its own is actually a great kind of song you can put on loop if you need to chill out for something, if you're like drawing, or if you're doing something that's very relaxed. It's good to listen to that. But I feel like that song, like especially part 1 and kind of part 2 as well, they don't really fit on this album. You mentioned that, you know, Glory to the King does not set the tone very well, and Silent Songs of the King is a really good example of how to not fit that tone. Yeah. It's kind of completely out of place. The track order is also completely whack. Yeah. I listened to this album backwards, like from the end to the beginning, and if Silent Songs of the King was put into one track and was a lot shorter, I feel like it could have been a good instrumental intro track.
That's true. Yeah,
and Legend of the King, as you said last week, would have been a fantastic ending track.
That should have been the ending track.
Because it's long and it just puts you right in the place of like, wow, that was the spectacle.
That is a good track too, Legend of the King.
That is
it is a little long, but it would have been a great ending track. Would have just kind of put a cap on the album, like out with a bang kind of thing.
Exactly. So they kind of flopped there, but half the songs in this album I didn't really mind skipping. Like I said, Silent Songs of the King, it's not bad, but it's really, I don't know, I felt it didn't really have its place compared to the other songs on this album. So when those came on, I would kind of skip it and be like, okay, I'm just only interested for those 5 tracks I mentioned. You did mention catchiness, and I was a huge fan of the catchiness in King After King and in The King Wants You. Like you said, you know, it's catchy, but you didn't like it. It was catchy for me, and I did like it. I put it on, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. It's the simplicity that gets in your head.
Yeah.
But for me, I had nothing wrong with it. I didn't feel like it was really that annoying to me.
What about the cowbell in The King Wants You?
I thought that was so funny. Every time I heard it.
Funny good or funny bad?
Funny good. I didn't
Funny
have a
good?
problem with it, really.
I thought they overdid it a little bit. I just kept picturing Will Ferrell like, more cowbell, more cowbell. Like, I don't know. But yeah, the ending of that song is so cheesy where it stops and then it just a couple more cowbell hits and then The King Wants You one more time. Like, oh, you should have left that out. That was totally
I didn't really have a problem with it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, funny's okay if the whole album's funny. Maybe the whole album is supposed to be funny. I don't know.
I mean, The King Speaks was supposed to be funny, and that was 3 minutes of I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So maybe the whole album was supposed to come across like a joke. But as far as it being like a concept album about the king, I feel like that idea fell flat too. I feel like it didn't sell it like it was supposed to. It didn't hit that home run that it possibly had potential to hit. It was more like a first base hit, in my opinion. But,
I mean, it was a cool concept, like being about the king. They just didn't really do it that well. And it's not that Avatar can't do concept albums, because Feathers and Flesh was a concept album. That was a great album.
Yeah.
So they just kind of just had an idea and they dropped the ball.
I feel like they dropped the ball. And yeah, it just feels like. And somebody in the comments of our last video mentioned that, that they changed and we shouldn't hate on them because they changed. I disagree with that. I don't think they changed. This sounds very much like Avatar. It sounds very much like their previous albums or previous sound. The sound is still there, but they just didn't, like I said, they didn't hit that home run like they did with Feathers and Flesh or the Black Waltz. They didn't nail it out of the park. Because with those albums, they had, catchy riffs that were good riffs. They had guitar tones that were good tones. They had just rhythms that were awesome and melodies that were awesome and just things that were great. And the albums were just fun to listen to. This one is just a fucking plateau of mediocre, It's just I don't want to say too many bad things about it, but I don't have anything good to say about it. I really don't. I mean, you could put this album on and be like, okay, yeah, it's playing, it's all right, like whatever. It's there. Yeah. It's there. But I was never like banging my head, or I was never going, oh, that part was fucking awesome, I'm going to rewind and listen to that. I'm never looking forward to songs. I'm never going like, I'm going to listen to this song a few extra times because I like it the most. Like, never happened.
And speaking of how uninteresting you're pretty much putting the album, I feel that if you're someone that wants to get into this band, do not start with this album. Definitely not. They have so much better content overall.
You'll listen to this and you'll get turned off the band right away, and that's not fair because they do have good material.
Exactly.
As we mentioned.
Most people will listen to this and just go, and then they'll not try it again. So start with either Feathers and Flesh or Black Waltz, really. Like both those albums are incredible.
As far as I'm concerned, actually, you know what? Let's go to ratings.
All right. So, what would you rate it?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to go into a spiel about how I feel about it because we basically just covered everything. This might hurt our comment section because I know there's some fans out there, but I give this album a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. I don't think it deserves anything more than that. I mean, the fact that half of the album is basically almost like filler. You got two instrumentals, you got a speech in the middle of it, and then the intro song. That sucks, in my opinion. And then out of the other 5 tracks, there's maybe, 2 that I kind of like, but for no real great reason. Yeah, 3 out of 10, man. I just don't know how to justify anything higher than that.
Yeah. For me, this album, only half of it really stood out to me, and there were still even some things in those songs that I thought to myself, I'd rather just listen to other Avatar albums, so for me it's a 4 out of 10. I'm a little bit more optimistic than Vile, but at the same time, I really feel like Avatar dropped the ball with this one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too. We were
hyped.
It is,
yeah. We were really hyped. We loved their other albums, and if you are interested in getting into this band, go listen to those other albums.
Yeah,
they're a lot better than this one.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the review, though, unless you want to add anything. So leave a comment below. Let us know what you guys think of the album. Try not to hurt us too bad if you guys really like the album. And tell us what you liked about it.
Yeah.
You know, don't just shit on Cattle Decapitation and Korn, because that's what people like to do for some reason. When we don't like an album that they like to make fun of the band shirts we're wearing. It's just a thing people do. I don't know why, but whatever. But yeah, at least maybe try to sell it to us. You know, let us know what you liked about it and why you liked it and things like that. And if you didn't like it, then hey, you can tell us about that as well. But that's pretty much it for this video, so be sure to like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it or if it upset you, I guess you can click that thumbs down button. It's not going to hurt our feelings too much. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys on the next one.